Family, what's poppin'? It's your boy Simeon Russell coming at you with nothing but nicks. For those who know me, you know I'm on travel. Those who constantly tune in to the podcast, you know I'm on travel. Right now, I'm way out in Western Maryland at a conference, all the way at the western side of the state, almost into West Virginia, on the border of Pennsylvania. You know what I'm saying? And wanted to get on last night, wasn't able to get on last night. You know, conference duties called. You know what I mean? But it's all peace, it's all love. You know, it's what I do. It's how we got to do it. You know, so I'm away, but I definitely wanted to jump on and talk about Dave Fizdale. You know what I'm saying? What's up, everybody? Siobhan, everybody. You know what I mean? See who I got in here. I got everybody here. Triple G. You only know Big. Siobhan, King Amani, Dave Johnson. Yeah, for sure. Just wanted to get on and holler at you guys, man. I was excited. Um, yeah, definitely a lot to talk about. I was excited about what I heard from David Fizdale yesterday. I was really excited about it. I just feel the way. I just feel his whole aura. You know, everything about what he represents. I'm definitely confident that he can do it. You know what I mean? I think that he's professional, as we've been speaking about. I think he has the right idea in mind. The fact that he obviously mentions defense first, and we've heard tons and tons of coaches mention defense first, right? But it's not just that he mentioned defense first. He said, "I want to be a top-ranked defense." I don't know if I've heard someone else say, "I want to be a top-ranked defense." He said, "We want to be fast. We want to play hard." Um, I definitely feel those things that he said. You know, I definitely feel that. I feel that him and Scott Perry and Steve Mills are on the same page when it comes to the vision that they have for the team. A loud defense, yes. A loud defense. That was the word I was missing. I was looking for that word. He said, he said, I want it to be a loud defense, disruptive. That's what I'm assuming he means, disruptive. And I think he's going to be able to do it. You know, I think what tends to happen is coaches come in and they say that they want to focus on the defense, and then they get caught up into the offense. You know what I mean? And start looking at what can they do offensively. I think if you really pound in the defense, your guys will learn to have a defensive culture, like Robert Paris is saying. Your guys will learn to have a defensive culture, especially if you hold them accountable. You know what I'm saying? You hold them accountable for not playing defense, and if you hold them accountable for not playing defense, they're, they're gonna play defense. The number one, the best motivator in basketball is the bench. That is the best motivator in basketball. You know what I'm saying? If you put guys on the bench for not playing defense, or whatever it is that you want to put them on the bench for, you put them on the bench, they will be motivated to perform. You know what I'm saying? Um, I liked what he said about certain players. I seen someone say that they liked what he said about Moutier. I definitely like what he said about Moutier. He said he told Moutier, "I'm gonna get you right." You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be a defensive guard that's unstoppable on the offensive end, or that's hard to stop on the offensive end. He said, "I'm gonna get you right." You know what I'm saying? And I respect that. I respect that, and I think he definitely put Moutier on call. And listen, you may have a little bit of lag because where I am, the internet's not good, and the service isn't that good either. You know, so if you get a little bit of lag, that's probably the issue. You know, but he put Moutier on call and let him know, you know, we're gonna work. and we're going to turn you into a ball player. What that says to me is that, and maybe he said it because Moutier is there, right? But maybe there's something about Moutier that he does like. Maybe there's something that he sees that he likes. I don't know, but he's seemed to have made a commitment to Moutier. Also, with Frank, he sees Frank as a two-way guy. Um, I think he and Frank are going to. You know what? Let me back up. Something else that I like that he said. He said that, someone asked him about the point guard situation. And he was like, point guards? I've got guards. And I like that because that tells me that he's going to teach Frank, he's going to teach Burke, he's going to teach Moutier, he's going to teach them guys how to rotate in and out of being a point guard, shooting guard, off guard, whatever you want to call it. And I think that's a powerful thing to have. If any one of your guards can grab the ball, come up the floor, and initiate your offense, that's hard to stop when you can initiate the offense from any one of your guards that's on the floor. You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see if he can really do it. Yeah, Darcy, I know I'm in a really bad area. The internet isn't good, and the service in the area isn't that good. So I'm sure there is a little bit of lag, and I apologize for that. You know what I mean? I just but I want to get on and talk about, talk about the Knicks, talk about our guy David Fizdale. You know what I'm saying? Um, so hopefully it probably comes in and out or whatever it is. Hopefully, we can do enough to get through a few minutes. I'm not gonna be on super late, super long, you know, because I got to get up crazy early. I've really just got into my hotel room from running this conference from early this morning. You know, um, but I see what he said about Noah, saying how he's giving everybody a clean slate. He's not coming in with any preconceived notions, and which means he's going to give Noah a chance, right? He is going to allow Noah he's going to try to allow Noah to prove that he still has it in his league. He can still give us something. You know what I mean? Um, I think Fizdale. I think Fizdale may give Noah a chance if he's on the team. If he's on the team, I think Fizdale is going to give him a chance. Now if Noah does something, if they, uh, um, if Noah gets cut or they buy Noah out, then obviously they won't give him a chance. But I think if Noah is there, Fizdale is going to give him a chance. He's a guy that can quarterback your defense. I'm not going to say anchor your defense. Maybe he's someone who can quarterback the defense in a little way. You know what I'm saying? Just by the way that he talks, his knowledge on the defensive end. You know what I mean? Troy, you say we have a logjam at center. I'm not sure we do. Well, right now we have a logjam at center because guys are still under contract. I think by the end of the summer we won't have a logjam at center. Either Kylo Quinn or Cantor won't be here, in my opinion. You know what I mean? One of those two guys won't be here, and that pulls me to Kylo Quinn because what does it mean that Kylo Quinn was at the presser? I read some comments about O'Quinn. He said he's impressed with Fizdale. He said he wants to be in New York. He said no matter who coaches, I want him to be here. You can go check that out on New York Post com. There's an article there. He said no matter who coaches, he wants to be here. But there's an interesting situation taking place between Kyle O'Quinn and Cantor because obviously for the Knicks to, I guess the Knicks could maybe find a way to sign O'Quinn to a slightly larger deal on a longer term contract. But Kyle O'Quinn just signed a contract with what is his name, Mark Bartelstein, the same agent that Cantor has. So I think that's a very interesting dynamic, you know, because in order for Kyle O'Quinn to get the contract that he wants with the Knicks, if he wants it with the Knicks, you're probably going to need Cantor to opt out, and the Knicks not re-sign him or re-sign him for a less amount of money. That's very, very interesting, um, and I'm not sure. We'll see where the Knicks go from there, and we'll see how that works out. And maybe they do get a 2-4 deal. Maybe they do get a deal with both of them, signing maybe longer term at a decent amount per year. I don't know. I have the feeling with Cantor, if Cantor is looking to opt out, maybe he's looking to re-up for more years. And I think he did say this, for more years. There may be less amount of money per year, but for more years. So that's definitely going to be an interesting dynamic between Cantor and O'Quinn and the Knicks and Mark and their agent, since they now share an agent. Now that's going to be something to look for, and see how that whole situation works out. Robert Paris, right? If the Knicks pick up Bamba or Carter, it changes it all. It definitely does. It changes everything. If they pick up one of those guys, Cantor and O'Quinn both opt out, then the Knicks got some serious money to, maybe make some other moves. And I'm not talking about LeBron James moves either. That's not a move I'm looking to go for. It always scares me, when you start talking about LeBron because almost any team would probably sign him if they had the opportunity to, but I don't want to go there. So I'm not even going to try to talk it up. I'm not going to talk it up. I'm going to get that out of here. You know what I mean? But if the Knicks draft a center, that would definitely free up cap space if Cantor and O'Quinn both opted out. Now here's another situation. Cantor and O'Quinn officially cannot opt out until July. By that time, the draft is done. Now, I'm sure the Knicks would probably know beforehand whether or not they're going to opt out, so they would know which kind of move to make in the draft. But what if they don't know? What if Cantor and O'Quinn, I don't want to say they're hiding anything, but they just haven't made up their minds yet. Now, the Knicks, have to make a decision. Do we draft the center or not? If let's just say Mo Bamba was available and they don't know what Cantor and O'Quinn are going to do, do you draft Mo Bamba anyway if that's who you like? If it's me, yeah, I do. If that's who I really want and that's who I like, I draft them. And then I figure out what I do with the rest of the guys later. Um, so, the Knicks, this new regime definitely has some thinking to do. But what I want to ask you guys about Dave Fizdale, what are his first priorities? Kawhi Jennings, I agree with you. If Cantor leaves, he's probably going back to OKC. I definitely agree with that. He loves OKC. He obviously went there for a playoff game, and he would love to go back to OKC. But what's Dave Fizdale? What's his first priority coming in as the New York Knicks head coach? I think he probably feels like he has a very clean slate He has a white canvas to paint on. You know, unlike in Memphis when they had a system, they had their little grinded out system that they were using, and then he comes in wanting to change it, and they're like, nah, that's not going down this way. With the Knicks, it's a clean slate. It's a white canvas. CP the artist knows what I'm talking about. It's a white canvas. They can create anything they want. Hide his wife. Darcy, you're a funny dude. Um, but what's the first thing he needs to establish? Is it relationships with the players? Does he need to build those bridges with the players right off the jump? Um, it's kind of hard for him to begin developing a system of play. I mean, you can, because some of the base players that you're gonna have, Tim Hardaway, Frank Ntilikina, um, Trey Burke, Lance Thomas, probably, as much as people do not want to believe it, or do not want Lance. Lance is probably going to be here. Um, you got Troy Williams and Ron Baker. You got some guys that he knows is going to be here. So he can start to maybe kind of think about a system a little bit. But of course, you're going to have guys in the draft. You can see what happens in free agency. Um, but what's he established? Someone says leadership. Um, I think he needs to establish some standards. If I was him, I would. I mean, hey, Anthony Gucci, man, you got to chill, B. I'm saying you can't do this, man. Um, you said new culture, right? In order to establish that new culture, I think one of the things he has to do. So I'm gonna say this. I think his first priority is to develop a relationship with the players, right? Um, develop a relationship, meet the players, talk to the players, um, kind of just get to know them a little bit, let them get to know him. You know, whether that be, if I'm him, I visit them face to face. Yeah, exactly. There you go. I love New York. You visit them face to face. None of this texting, phone calls. Go face to face, talk to them. Sit down with them, take them out to lunch, dinner, whatever it is. Go to the court, shoot around with them a little bit, talk to them. Um, Siobhan, you said Fizz lost points trying to kiss up to KP too soon. You say it's too soon. I mean, maybe he did. I don't know. He was definitely, saying, KP's got all the tools to take this franchise to another level. Definitely said that. Um, but I think you develop a relationship, and you don't have to be, develop the kind of relationship where you're best friends with them. But I think you develop a relationship, and then right after you develop that relationship, you put out some standards, right? You say, okay, you know what? I spoke to you guys a little bit, I because when you're developing that relationship and you find out, you talk to guys, and you get to find out what did they experience in the past here. You know, get some of their input. What do you think needs to happen? You know, where's were you held accountable? What kind of accountability actions do you think need to take place? Let them get their input. And I know there are some people who are advocates of not getting players' input for certain things. I think that's the wrong way to go. I think you always get players' input because, and this is with any kind of job, you get your staff's input. Why? Because it develops a sense of ownership. Like they feel like they own part of this, whatever they're building. You know what I'm saying? So I think I think you talk with the players, get some of the input, and then you set your standards and you send it out to them over the summer, and you say, put your standards out there. Boom, 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 boom. You lay it out, and you give them expectations. I expect you to come back in tip-top shape. You know, my man Jersey Shore 74. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it, my brother. You say, I think it's a mistake for the coach to go see KP. Why do you think it's a mistake? I just like to, get your reasoning behind that. I think it's a good thing for him to go see KP. Um, I think that's a leadership move, in my opinion. I don't think it means that he's trying to get on KP's good side. I think it just shows respect. But I'd like to hear why. And Mr. T, you say the same thing. So I'd like to hear why you think that. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just wondering why you believe that. Um, I think it's a good move because I think it just shows some respect. Um, I think it shows that I'm willing to work with you. We can become, I want to build this bridge and build this bond with you. And I think the important thing is what the conversation is like. Because I think in every conversation, um, I think in every conversation that he has with some of his new players, um, you set some of your boundaries. You know what I'm saying? You talk to them, you build that relationship, but you also set some boundaries and lay down some of your expectations. Um, and I think it's only a good thing for you to do that in person. I think it's very informal and impersonal to do it over the phone or do it through a text or through Skype or something like that. I think you sit down, meet with that person, meet with them in person. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know because Siobhan, you said it doesn't look authentic, but I hear that he's going to go to France as well and visit Frank. You know, um, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think it's a good idea, and I seen someone ask why doesn't KP? How come KP didn't reach out to him? You know, think about this. When, well, if you started a new job, when you started a new job, you might have some people that come around to see you, that come around to your office and say hello. But most of the time, you have somebody who takes you around the office building and introduces you to who's who. It's kind of like the same thing, you know. I don't think it's incumbent upon KP to reach out to Fizdale. If you want to, that's cool. Um, and the thing is this, you never know what happens behind closed doors. Steve Mills could have said from what Courtney Lee, I think it was. I think Courtney Lee said that they found out in the group chat well before it was released to the public. And they may have said, Steve Mills, Scott Perry may have said to KP, hey, um, we're gonna hire Coach Fizdale, and he's gonna reach out to you. So just be at easy, just be at ease. Let him reach out to you. You never know what happens there. Robert Perez, thank you for the super chat. He said KP equals dollars, franchise value for Dolan. Uh, yeah, he does. He does. He equals value for Dolan in the business of MSG for sure. You know. You said Sim, you don't think it's funny that everyone congratulated Fizz and KP didn't? I, we don't know if KP did or if he didn't. I don't know. I mean, I didn't read any reports to say that he didn't congratulate him. Um, but I think that we don't know. We don't know if he did not congratulate him. I think we don't know what the full story is. Like I said, somebody could have contacted KP and said, "Hey, Coach Fizdale is going to reach out to you. Just hang tight." They could have spoken over the phone. Anything. You never know. You know what I mean? I don't think that it sends off any alarms if if a new coach is hired and a player doesn't reach out to that coach. Especially if you don't. I mean, you may know who that person is, but you may not know them personally, or maybe you don't have that connection. You know what I mean? Think about it like this. Um, People like Kylo Quinn and guys that's, grew up in the States, they have agents that probably know how to get in contact with Fizdale. KP's got his family, as his agents and his handlers and everything. So maybe they don't have those same connections. I don't know. Um, I don't know. And I think it's overblown when people keep talking about Fizdale and his relationship with a European player. I, I don't know. I think that I think that's overblown a little bit. I mean, why does it have to be? Is it just because? Are we concerned that he has a problem with a star player? That he may have problems with the star player, or are we concerned that it's a European player? I know in the presser, they asked him a question about, that he's had some bad things or whatever it is to say about European basketball. I don't think that I don't think it's an issue with him being a European player. I really don't. I think with Mark Gasol, it was an issue with um, Fizdale. I think Fizdale played a part in it. You know what I mean? I think that Fizdale um, kind of wanted to change Mark Gasol's game. He wanted to change the way that Memphis played. And Mark Gasol probably knew if you change to the style that you're saying you're going to change to, what's that mean for me? Then I think there's some personality conflicts. Um, and it didn't work between them two. And then, of course, you have the whole thing with, Gasol is a grown man. He's a grown ass man. He's an adult. Um, and so, you got someone like Fizdale coming in, they're a little bit closer in age. There could be some clashes there. In New York, he's dealing with kids. He's dealing with all kids. And I don't think it's going to be a problem at all. Well, I'm not going to say that. I don't think that. I don't want. You never know if there's going to be a problem. I don't think that the problem with Gasol and Fizdale is as big as people would make it out to be. Want to make it out to be. You know, I think Fizdale made mistakes by, coming in, if it's true, coming into Memphis and saying we're gonna do this the Miami way and all that kind of stuff. That's a mistake. I don't care what team, you learned under. If you go to another squad and say we're gonna do it that team's way, that's a mistake. But he admitted some things. You know, he admitted some things. He admitted that maybe he came in with his guns blazing too much. Um, he seems like the kind of guy that learns from his mistakes. So I think that I think they have. I think the Knicks have something going on, something good going on. This is the first time in a long time that I felt like the management and the coaching was on the same page, and that we put together some pieces on the management and coaching side that actually fit together. The same way that you want to put pieces on the basketball court that fit together, um, you got to have management, coaches, your coaches. They've got to have some chemistry too. Because if they don't have chemistry, then coming from the top down to the players, you have confusion and tension and those type of things. And if you have those type of things, you're not going to be successful. You know what I mean? Um, hey Simon, I apologize about that, man. I'm in a, I'm kind of like out in the country. You know what I'm saying? There's not much out here where I'm at right now. Um, the internet isn't that good and the service isn't that good. So I apologize for the choppy video, my man. And most likely for the next video, I'll be back. Um, I'll be back in the studio and we'll be live and in effect. Everything will be good. You know, but like I was saying, I think that um, I think that we have a management team that fits. Now, can we pull together an assistant coaching staff that fits? You know, Fizdale and Woodson would be beautiful. That'd be a beautiful thing, I think. And I think he'd fit in with the philosophy perfectly. You know what I mean? I'd love to see Woody come back and coach under uh, um, Fizdale. You know what I mean? So Fizdale he's got his work cut out for him because we kind of had an ill-fitting roster. We just got some vagabond pieces that he's got to figure out what to do with them. Um, that's going to be a challenge. Um, so he's got some work cut out, and definitely, yeah, I'm going to follow the conference finals. I'm going to talk about today what team do we want to follow. We'll probably what series we want to follow. We want to follow. We'll probably I don't know, probably an East Coast series. We'll follow one of them, and then after this series, we'll follow the finals, of course, and then after that, I'll just set a time. Most likely twice a week that I'm going to be on, and then I'll come on straight at that time. So we'll do it that way. And then, of course, if anything happens, um, we'll jump on and do an emergency meeting. You know, the game tonight. I didn't get to watch all of the game tonight. I did watch the fourth quarter. Philly almost made that run. Almost. I mean, they took the lead. They took the lead, but Boston is strong, man. Boston is strong. I'm just not convinced right now, though, and I could be surprised. And I'm kind of don't know what to do. You know what I mean? I usually don't vote for Boston teams, but I do not like the Cavs because I do not like LeBron James. So I think I want Boston to win. I don't know if they're going to be able to. I don't know if they have that star power right now to match up with LeBron. I think that. So I think Cleveland's going to make it out the series. I think it's going seven though. I think it's going to go seven, and I think Cleveland might get it in seven, which means they're going to have to win in Boston. But I think they might be able to get it done just because they do not have that kind of firepower. But I think that the Celtics have some fight. Their defense is, I mean, their defense is crazy. The Celtics got a crazy defense, man. Defense is crazy, and they have so much talent that players are stepping up all over the place. Mad players are stepping up and playing ball. Um, but in the end, I think Cleveland takes it, and we're gonna see a Cleveland. Before I said Cleveland, Houston. I still think I'm going with Cleveland and Houston, but the Warriors, look like the Warriors right now. You know what I mean? Um, Jason M, I agree with you. I think if Kyrie was playing, I'd pick the Celtics. But no Kyrie, I don't think they're gonna. I just don't think they have that same star power. At some point, you do need some star power, and I don't think they have that star power to get over the hump. But I'm rooting for them though. I'm rooting for them. But I think Houston probably takes it in the end. Obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors won won the title. Um, the way they're looking recently, they look like they look like they got their swag back. They look like they're ready to play some ball in these playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Um, But that Houston and Warriors series is going to be serious. I'm watching every single game for sure. That's going to be a serious series. Uh, I'm I'm kind of rooting for Chris Paul. You know what I mean? I'm really glad that Chris Paul had the game that he had last night. I'm glad he made it to the Western Conference Finals because people have been doubting him for a while because he's never made it to the Western Conference Finals or to a conference finals. I'm glad that he did in the way that he did. And I really want to see Chris Paul get loose in the conference finals and make it to the finals. And I know Melo's probably looking on like, damn, I should have been with them. I should have been with Houston. Um, I should have, if Houston would have been able to find a way to bring Melo there. I know he's looking probably upset, but hey, it is what it is. BN, you said what? The Sixers need to go back to tanking? Nah, man. I don't think so. I don't think so. I seen an interesting conversation on First Take with Stephen A. and Max Kellerman, talking about the Sixers tanking and whether or not the tanking has worked. Max Kellerman, Max brought up that they didn't even really follow the process. They kind of cut that process short, when they fired Hinkie and did whatever. And Stephen A. Don't really didn't. Actually I forgot what Stephen A. was saying. It was an interesting conversation. I forgot what Stephen A. said about it. But Stephen A. always got something to say. But I mean the Sixers, man, they have a bright future. They made a mistake by trading that number one. Um, they made a mistake by trading that number 3 pick, and they should have went ahead and kept that number 3 pick, and kept any assets that came with it, and just went ahead and drafted Jason Tatum, or still drafted Markelle Fultz because the Celtics may have liked Jason Tatum and still took him at number 1, kept their assets and just drafted Markelle Fultz at number 3. Markelle Fultz is not even playing in the playoffs. What's going to happen with Markelle Fultz? I'm interested to see. To see if next year maybe he doesn't he's not hurt, he can get into the flow of the system and see what happens, or do they put Markelle Fultz up for trade? If they feel they already have, they got Ben Simmons, allow him to run the point. Um, I don't know. But it's interesting to see what's going to happen there. Yeah, I think Markelle Fultz is still going to be a good player. Definitely. You said the Knicks going to pick up Markelle Fultz. For who? How do we pick him up? For who? Who do we trade? Who do we trade for Markelle Fultz? Um, I don't think the Sixers. I don't know. I don't know. I think the Sixers probably give him next year to see what they want to do next year, see how he fits into their system. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, see what's going on. But I don't see Markelle Fultz coming to the Knicks. I don't see it in the cards. Um, I see the Knicks in the draft. I see the Knicks looking at wing players, of course. Um, Mikal Bridges is most people's number 1 consensus for who they would like to see the Knicks draft. The lot, I think the lottery is actually next week, I believe. So I'm definitely excited about that. Scott Perry is going to be representing the New York Knicks at the lottery. Hopefully, we can bring some good luck with that 6.5% chance that we have of getting that first pick. Those are long odds, but he's let's hope that we get some luck there. With Scott Perry, I mean, hey, you know what? Listen, Tuesday is the lottery. Okay, Tuesday's the lottery. Um, So far, the Knicks, in my opinion, have had a good off season just because they hired Coach Fizdale. Positive vibes bring positive vibes. Positive energy brings positive energy. What you put out in the world usually comes back to you. You know what I'm saying? I know Tony Crow has been saying all year long that the Knicks they're gonna get lucky in the draft. It's this our year. Um, Maybe so. You know what I'm saying? Maybe so. Like I said, you put that positive energy out, you're gonna get positive energy back. What you put out into the world, you get back to you. My bad. What you put out into the world, you get back to you. You know what I mean? And the Knicks putting good stuff out in the world right now. I think and I believe. So hopefully, we get some luck in the draft. But you know what? If we don't get that pick, I think there's still moves that the Knicks can make. I think Scott Perry. Um, I don't know. I feel like Scott Perry has the connections. He's got good relationships around the league, and he's got respect around the league. It's for him to be able to get things done. You he said, "Who would I draft? I'd probably draft Mikal Bridges if he's there. I would draft Mo Bamba as well. I think those are the two positions that I think we need. Even though people say, well, we have Cantor, or we have O'Quinn, or we have Noah. Um, I think we need someone longer, a shot blocking center, um, to be beside KP, and one that is going to actually build up to have to make $18 million a year, but it's going to give us that $18 million a year production in his second or third year, but we only paying him $4 million or $5 million or $7 million or something like that. You know, but I want length. You know what I mean? I want length. I definitely want length on the team. I think when you're playing, if you want to be a fast defensive team, disruptive defensive team, I think length is key. Long guards, long. I mean, just think about it. If you have a Mo Bamba who's long, you got KP who's long, Troy Williams when he plays the three, he's long. You got Frank at the point guard who's long. Um, I mean, those long type of teams give people trouble because they can get their arms. I mean, you can stand a couple of feet away and still get your arms in the passing lane. Those type of teams, sometimes, they give other teams fits because the length is just, it's hard to score against that kind of length. You know what I mean? And, that's the kind of team that I like to see out there on the floor, the kind of defensive teams I like to see out there on the floor. When you're playing with guys who are short arms, even if they're 6'4", 6'5", point guard, but you got short arms compared to other 6'4", 6'5" guards, uh, it that's a negative for you defensively because those long arms allow you to do so many things as we see with Frank, right? His long arms allow him to be in almost seems like multiple places at the same time. Um, Now, if we were to get lucky and get into that top three pick, that's depending on, let's say we were third, depending on who fell to us, I'd probably take the best talent available. Even at 9, I'm going to take the best talent, I think, available. But I'd look for the best talent within the 3 spot, a wing player and a center. I really would look to those areas. But if someone dropped that was a shooting guard, but they were just the best talent that was out there, then I'd have to take a long, hard look about it and see if that's somebody that I want to get. But in the top 3, I do. My only fear about Michael Porter Jr. in the top 3, um, his talent is off the charts, right? I feel like he's going to need a couple of years to really be who we think he could be. And do we have time? Yeah, we got time. So that's really not too much of an issue. But what scares me is when the reason why I think he needs that time is because I, I think that Michael Porter Jr. needs to develop a lot of fundamentals. I don't think he's fundamentally sound. You know what I mean? And I watch him play, and I don't see all the fundamentals there. And so I just question whether or not he's going to be able to build those fundamentals to be as successful as we think he could be. That's just my opinion of him. Um, because once you reach a certain level, you might be able to get past and get by on talent when you're in high school, maybe even in college. When you get to the NBA, you've got to have some fundamentals to fall back on. And I think that Michael Porter Jr. maybe lacks um, lacks some of those fundamentals. He's very, very raw, like Kawhi is saying. He's very, very raw. And, when you're 19 years old, when you're that raw and 19 years old, um, is it hard for you to learn those fundamentals? I don't know, because you build, you're 19, you've been playing ball a certain way for so long, you build habits. You know what I'm saying? Uh, and then, it could be hard to break those habits, but he's a talent for sure. You know what I mean? He's a talent for sure. DeAndre Ayton, I'd be interested there in that top three. To be honest with you, I don't know much about Duncan. I haven't watched him too much. Um, I know it. They say he can ball. Um, they say he can ball. Someone asked me about Kawhi Leonard. Um, I discussed this plenty of times before. I really don't have too much interest in Kawhi. Not that I think Kawhi is a bad player. I think he's a really good player, great player, superstar in the league, all NBA player. Um, I'm just afraid, you try to get Kawhi, you're doing the same thing that you did a long time ago. And there's some question marks about Kawhi, in my opinion, as far as his injuries, his injury, his where he is mentally. You know what I mean? And then all this money that we got to pay him right now. I think our goals need to be collecting young assets that are cheap. You know what I mean? Yeah, Mr. T, communication. Yep. I think our goals need to be, yeah, to collect young assets that are cheap and try to build those assets into value. You know what I mean? Not grab, not when you get someone like a Kawhi Leonard who's going to be 27 years old, I think soon, 26 or 27, I think it's 27. These guys are at the peak of their powers, and so that means they're at the peak of their salary as well. You know, and at the situation that we're in, I think we need to build guys up so that they are at the peak of their talent when we're peaking as well. You know what I mean? That's where I think we need to go. Um, Siobhan, you said Carmelo was never a top three talent in the league like Kawhi Leonard. Uh, I don't know. I mean, maybe not. But I mean, I'm concerned. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think Kawhi is good. I want to see what he does. Like I said before, I want to make sure that Kawhi is not Danny Granger. You know what I mean? That to me, I think I see a similar career arc between him and Danny Granger. I want to see that Kawhi's not Danny Granger. You know what I mean? Um, and then with Kawhi Leonard too, I'm like, I feel like I don't see the situation being good with San Antonio. I think him and Pop can work it out, probably most likely. But I see it like this: if Kawhi is actually injured, wants his own personal doctors to check him out, and is claiming that he's still, is not healthy, then I think then I'm still nervous because of his health. If he is healthy and just decided that he has a rift with San Antonio, so he's gonna use his health as an excuse to sit out, then I think that's also a red flag. I want to see how this whole thing boils over. You know, I think like Scott Pray said, you can't skip steps. You know what I mean? I think you can't skip steps, and I think we've got to try to build our value, get assets. It's like the stock market, right? You buy stocks when they're cheap. $1, $2, $5, $10, $20, 30, maybe 40, whatever. You buy stocks when they're cheap. You hold on to them. Those stocks are now assets, and those assets grow, and they turn into great value for you. And then you sell those assets to turn it into liquid cash. Turn it into liquid, right? So now you can actually use that for anything that you want. However you want to use the value that you gain from those assets, however you want to use it, you can use it because it's now liquid. And it's the same way. You bring in young players that are on cheap salaries, and you hope that they grow to become valuable players. And value means that they play at a high level, but their salary is below market value. And that's what happens when you have rookies and young players, right? They're below market value. Look at Terry Rozier. His level of play right now is, he's making $2 million a year. He's way below his market value, guaranteed. And now the Celtics are in a situation where they can keep Terry Rozier for $2 million a year and maybe decide that I'm going to try to get more assets for Kyrie. Because Terry Rozier is such a high value. Um, Big Johnson, whether or not he would be, his value is still very high right now. Because, and you could be right, maybe he goes to another team and he wouldn't be that good. But we're just talking strictly about value, right? And right now, his value is off the charts. If he was a free agent this year, he'd get a large contract. You know what I'm saying? He'd get a large contract. But the Celtics have a lot of value in him right now because he's making $2 million a year, but he's playing at a level for someone who makes much more money. And I think that's what you want to get. You want to collect these young players that have value, and then cash in your chips. When you collect the young players when their value is low and they don't make a lot of money, and then hopefully you develop them, they become a high value player, but you're paying them at a lower rate, and then you can cash in your chips. I think that's the way you do it. And not only do you do it with players, but collecting draft picks, different things like that you can cash in later on. That's what the Celtics did. That's what the NBA did. That's what the whole process with the Sixers. That's what that whole process was about. You know what I'm saying? That's what the whole process was about. Is collecting assets so that you can use them later. Kawhi said, make those chips happy and they'll stay at a discount. Maybe they, I never, ever count on a player staying at a discount. And if I were an agent or an advisor to a player, I'm going to be honest with you. I would not tell them to take a discount. I would tell them to make as much money as they can. I would tell them to find wherever they go to. Of course, you look, depending on the type of player that they are. If they're a superstar player, you can probably go anywhere. If you're a role player, um, you really got to find a place that you're going to be able to fit in, right? But I would always advise my players to mix. Forget about a discount. I would advise my players to look at how much you're going to make, where you're going to play, meaning how do you fit within that team, and put the two together to get the greatest value for yourself. You know what I mean? Um, this at-home discount. If you don't fit with that team, why am I going to give you a discount just because you drafted me? As a player, speaking from a player standpoint, the life of a player's career fades out. When they're early to mid 30s, it starts to fade out. And if you're a player, listen, if you're a player, you're a business. You are a business if you're a player. You know what I mean? You are an independent contractor, and you are your own corporation. You're your own business. You are the business. You are the product, and players have to look at it that way. And because one day they're not going to be able to make the same amount of money playing basketball. So it's only smart for them to maximize everything that they can get. But of course, you also want to be able to, you know, get the best value for yourself as well. You want to try to win and win championships. You want to be happy too. You mix all that in there, but you've got to, you know, that doesn't always mean giving a hometown discount, in my opinion. It may happen sometimes when it fits, but that's the way I see it for players. Um, and also from a management standpoint, you've got to try to get the best value from your standpoint. That's what makes it a business, and so many crazy things happen in the NBA. Sim, you say Golden State created a culture where they're all taking discounts to keep winning. Um, Maybe they're taking a slight discount, but those guys, some of those guys are making so much money. But this is what I said, where you've got to look at your value, right? How much money do I want to make, and where do I fit in? You know what I'm saying? That's what I was saying. You got you mix those values, you mix that and put it together to create the greatest value for yourself. Monetarily, and where you're going to be happy playing basketball. But also a team like Golden State, and if you're talking about Draymond Green, KD, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, those guys making money anyway. So if they take a $5 million pay cut, I mean, I guess that's a discount. If they take a $5 million pay cut over that 5 years, and it turns out to be $1 million a year, I guess that's a discount. You know, um, but those guys are going to make money anyway. Steph Curry, KD, those guys are going to have endorsements up the wazoo. They're going to make money. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, Curry just signed a supermax deal. He definitely did. He signed a supermax deal. But even if they were, some guys are going to make money regardless, so they can balance it out. Because, for example, if I'm a superstar player who gets endorsements anyway, and I take a $10 million pay cut, $5 million pay cut to play for a team that I know I'm going to win the championship, I'm going to make that money up because my team is so good. I'm going to have endorsements everywhere. But there's only three or four guys, two or three guys on the team. Everybody else, they're not getting those same endorsements. You know, uh, you know, KD, is getting a Lexus endorsement, Swaggy P or somebody, is getting an endorsement with the local car dealership, with the cheesy commercial. It's a little bit different. But so, I mean, I'm just an advocate for players maximizing themselves financially, but but also what makes them happy as a person and as a player. You know, fitting it together. That doesn't always mean a hometown discount, though. Darcy, you say you hope Fizz brings Miami's culture of elite conditioning and development. Read Deion Waiter's article. Miami whipped them into fantastic shape. I hope so too. I just don't want him to come to New York to say it's the Miami way. That's all. But I hope that he brings that same kind of culture to the team and makes them all come in tip top shape. People don't understand. A lot of players don't understand. The kind of shape you got to be in to be able to play the way that you want to play and be the type of player that you want to be in the NBA. Your best guys are always the best fit, right? Because when your body starts to wear down in the fourth quarter, if you're not fit, your body starts to wear down in the fourth quarter. Um, One of them superstar guys or them guys that are really in shape, they're not wearing down in the fourth quarter. They're still going strong. They're still feeling good. They still have the same strength, the same speed, the same power. Being physically fit, it means everything, especially in a game like basketball. You know what I mean? Especially in a game like basketball. Uh-oh, I see some Frank banter going on. Asian Lin fan, you say you people act as if is automatic when he shoots. If that was true, then why doesn't he let it fly more? You know what? Well, Asian Lin fan, he's not automatic when he shoots, but he doesn't let it fly more. He didn't let it fly more because, as he expressed in an interview that I read, um, he was a little bit. He didn't want to just change the way that he played right off the bat. And it took time for him to learn how guys play in the U.S. I mean, he was discussing this, and he understands a little bit more now about shooting. You know, Basically, he was saying, guys in the NBA are more selfish. Everyone wants to be the best. Guys in Europe, it's different. But he knows he's got to come back and be more aggressive. And I think that Fizdale is going to help him to do that. You know, I think Fizdale is going to help him to be aggressive. You know, he said Frank would be throwing up bricks if he shot more. Thank God he's smart enough to be a pass first player. No, I disagree with you. He's 19 years old. He's going to learn. I definitely think he's going to learn. And I think by the end of his career, Frank is going to be a 40% three-point shooter. I really do. And the reason why I think that is because of his shot selection. A lot of shooters in the NBA could be really good shooters, but their shot selection takes their field goal percentage down. I think Frank will have very good shot selection, so I think he'll be a 40% three-point shooter, 50% from the floor when it's all said and done. You know what I mean? Because of his shot selection, and he's a smart player. You know, Somebody always gotta try to hate on Frank, man. Don't hate on my man. Don't hate on him. He'll be all right. Give that man some time to grow. Frank is definitely going to be more aggressive next year. I love New York. You said Frank is going to be more aggressive next year. He just needed to get a feel for American basketball, of course. Just needed to get a feel for it. Now he's getting training under NBA coaches. He's never had training before in his life. Now he's getting that training. He's going to come back to the U.S. soon and play with some of these guys out there. We're going to see a better Frank next year, for sure. Why don't I ever respond to the Moutier banter in here? Sometimes I do, but Moutier's been in the league for 3 years. You know what I mean? Um, he's been in the league for 3 years. Moutier grew up playing in the U.S. basketball culture. I still think that um, Moutier can possibly be a good player. He's got a lot of work to do. He wasn't in shape last year, but I think Frank has way more potential. And I think, like people are saying, people want to get on Frank when the kid is a teenager, still a teenager. You know what I mean? So it's like, why you getting on that man? He had 1 year in the league. A couple weeks ago, we were talking. I was on Twitter. We were talking about Donovan Mitchell, and someone asked, "Where was Donovan Mitchell at 19?" Well, Donovan Mitchell at 19, he was averaging 7 points and 1.3 assists in college, or 1.4, whatever it was, 7 points and 1 point something assists in college when he was 19 years old. Frank is averaging similar numbers in the NBA at 19 years old. Am I saying he's going to be Donovan Mitchell? No, I'm not. But I'm just saying, give that man time to develop because Donovan Mitchell, he developed. At 19 years old, he was in college. In college, mind you, averaging 7 points, 1 point something assist. And he developed himself. He developed to become the player that he is now. He worked hard, and obviously coaches worked with him and those type of things to become who he is now. There's nothing to say that Frank can't do the same thing. You know, um, it's going to take time. It takes time. It takes time for these kids to develop, especially now today in the NBA. Kids coming in at 19 years old. It takes a lot of time for these kids to develop. You don't know who these guys are going to be. You don't know who because you don't know who has work ethic. A guy could come in. Michael Porter Jr. could come in at 19 years old, and everyone thinks he's going to be the God sent. But then we learn he doesn't have work ethic, and poor eating habits and poor sleeping habits. Goes out at night. I'm not saying he does these things. I'm just giving an example. You know, and then that player that you drafted at 15, who no one thought that this person had the same talent, becomes a better player because they had similar talent, maybe not as much, but their work ethic was better, their eating habits were better, their partying habits were better, their attitude was better. All those things factor into a player becoming or reaching their potential. And that's why I think Frank will reach his potential because everything that I see about the kid says that um, he wants it more than a lot of people. He wants it. He's a workaholic from what I read. He's a workaholic. He wants to be the best that he can be. At 19 years old, the kid was living on his own, um, and yet still, he spent his time at the gym, not out partying at the gym. I read articles about him, eating breakfast at home, eating lunch and dinner at the gym. Um, and that takes a lot of discipline for someone who's 19 years old. Yeah, you're right, Kawhi. He couldn't get into the club. Yeah, you're right about that. But I think it takes some discipline, man. And I think he has that. So I think we're gonna see something special out the kid. For real. You know. But when is the first round? When is Philadelphia and Boston and Cleveland begin their series? I'm about to check this out right here. So let's see. No games tomorrow night. No games Friday. Okay, Sunday, May 13th. That's when Cleveland and Boston begin their series. I'll be on before that. You can guarantee that I'll be on before then. Then Golden State and Houston begin their series on Monday the 14th. Um, so let's see. Let's check this out. It is Wednesday. It is Thursday. I'll probably be on Friday night. I'm gonna say Friday night at 10:30. I'm gonna jump on Friday night at 10:30. All right, I'll be on Friday night 10:30, and whatever we I'm pretty positive um, we'll have some things to talk about. Um, J.R. Will, you said, I know we don't talk about baseball, but do you see the Yankees? I'm actually a Mets fan. I don't, uh, I mean, I don't follow baseball that heavy, but if I did, I'd be a Mets fan. I do know that, so, I know I probably get scorned by a lot of people. That's cool. I'm with it. I'm definitely with it. But listen, I really started following sports, um, and really started heavily following sports in like 85, 86, and at that time the Knicks was getting Ewing. Um, the Mets were winning the World Series, won the World Series, and the Giants winning the Super Bowl around. So that's what it was. And that's who I rock with, and that's who I stay with. And the Mets wear orange and blue, so it is what it is. It's what's up. It's what's up. But Yankees 26-10. They're doing their thing out there, but the Mets kind of took a slide from earlier in the season. Um, at 18-17 right now, but I don't give up hope for them. They play too many games, so many games in baseball, man. You can make it run quick. I think I'm gonna jump on for the lottery. Yeah, I'll probably jump on and do a stream for the lottery. I'm gonna be excited about it. Be able to share that moment for sure. I mean, hopefully the Knicks, Scott Perry brings some luck, man. But hey, listen, like I said, I will be on Friday at 10:30, and then I'll be on Sunday um, after the Cavs and the Celtics. Yes, I know Kenny Black. I know all about it for sure. I know all about the Yankees and being the winningest franchise in sports history. I get it. I get it. You know what I mean? Um, look. When they're not playing the Mets, I rock with them. I mean, it's a New York team. I rock with them when they're not playing the Mets. Or if they're in the World Series, I rock with them for sure. But when they come up against my Mets, then you know they got to go by the wayside. Got to rip off the pinstripes and throw them away or something. This is what it is. But guys, I'm gonna log off, man. I appreciate you guys for jumping on with me. Everybody that hit me with a super chat, definitely appreciate that. And we're gonna keep following what's going on. I will be on Friday at 10:30. I'm saying Friday at 10:30, I'll be on. I'll probably jump on for an hour and a half. Got a fundraiser the next day, Saturday morning. But I will be on Friday night, 10:30. Um, I'm gonna be tired because I gotta drive about 4 hours to get back home, and then basketball practice. Then after basketball practice, I'll be jumping on. Hopefully I'll be back in the studio in enough time. If not, then I'm gonna jump on from wherever I am, and we gonna get it in. All right, but so I'm gonna go ahead and log this off for the night because I gotta get up early in the morning and do what I do. You know what I'm saying? So peace out to everybody. I appreciate you guys for logging on with me, and I'll highlight y'all Friday. Unless something crazy, unless something happens, which I doubt, but if something happens, I'll hit you. But I'm out, man. Peace. Great talk to you guys tonight. Thank you for logging in. One.